Hello, baby.
Hello, nasty. Hello there.
Hello.
I say hello.
Hello, friend.
Well, hello, little girl.
Hello, my treacherous friends.
Hello, operator.
The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 425 of the New York Knicks podcast, part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network and Dash Radio. I am Jay, and with me is Mark. How you doing, Mark?
Good. I am Fitz happy, Fitz magic, Fitz doing it. New regime, new coach. We're going to the finals this year, right, Jay?
I would give us like 80-20 odds to do that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we're going to play Golden State in the finals. We are doing it. We will be in the finals
Maybe
next
by
season.
year two, definitely.
Yeah, year two, definitely. So what is going on, Jay? Do you want to talk playoffs? Do you want to talk Knicks?
Well, let's do the Knicks stuff first. So,
should we talk playoffs now that we're already done with the Knicks?
the draft lottery was this week.
Yes, draft lottery.
The Knicks had the ninth best odds of getting the number one pick, and they finished with the ninth pick.
Yeah.
So
that's
they didn't
something.
move down. That's okay.
I think they moved up in the second round.
Cool.
Yeah, I think because the Bulls and I somehow with the Bulls moved up something with the Bulls are picking slightly higher in the second round, and they have that pick.
Okay, so there's a few interesting players the Knicks can get.
Yeah, well, so first round, who we taking?
Well, here's the prospects: Trae Young, Michael Porter Jr., Mikal Bridges, Miles Bridges, Colin Sexton, Lonnie Walker, Zaire Smith.
No one that sounds like J.R. Smith.
Kevin Knox, and Wendell Carter.
Okay, so I have some thoughts on this. You have some thoughts on this?
Yeah.
Okay, so first, I want to eliminate all the point guards. Trae Young, apparently he fell off a little bit in the second half last year, and I really don't, everything I've heard about him, supposed to be a good scorer, have a good handle, good passer, really not great on defense. Everything I'm getting from him, I don't see him being that much better than Trey Burke.
Also, Trae Young and Colin Sexton are both barely cracked 6 feet. So
Colin Sexton's supposed to be decent on defense. His offense needs some work, which we already have Ntilikina.
well, that and undersized guards, I'm all set with. We have Trey Burke.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm not dying to take any more undersized guards. We have Trey Burke. We have Trey Burke. I think Trae Young could be as good as Trey Burke. Is he that much better than Trey Burke?
I don't think not to the point where you want to spend your first round draft pick on him.
You have to really believe Colin Sexton or Trey Burke are
Trae Young.
Sorry, Trae Young and Colin Sexton are head and shoulders above Ntilikina and Trey Burke to have it worthwhile taking. This is one of the few positions that you have some young players who have some promise. It seems ass backwards to take a guy there unless you thought the guy was really special and just head and shoulders. If we had the number one pick and they had the number one point guard in the draft, okay, I can see taking some guys who's supposed to be really, really special.
Mm-hmm.
But for guys that have some questions about them anyway, we have guys we have questions about already. I know it's the whole best player available thing, but based on the guys that are supposed to be available anyway, I don't think the best player available is going to be a point guard. I don't think the best player available is going to be much better than what we have already.
Right, yeah. It's best player available if that best player is somebody you think is going to be amazing. If you're taking a reach, if you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe he's the best. I don't think it's worth it to do that for an undersized point guard. I know some people think Trae Young is going to be amazing. I'm under the impression that he has huge bust potential.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's looking because everyone's doing the comparison. They're like, well, he's a small guard that can score a lot. Oh, you're getting Steph Curry
Or Allen Iverson.
Yeah, chances are it's like with Jordan. You're not getting every new player that can jump is not Michael Jordan. Um, and by the way, Trey Burke looks like Allen Iverson enough. He has the hair. Already have our Allen Iverson. I don't know. I haven't watched enough of Trey Young myself, but everything I've heard about him, he was amazing to start the year. He really fell off. It seems like probably when defense is focused more on him, he probably fell off a little more. And his defense is very suspect. I don't think we can go the next year drafting another player that's building a roster around guys that are suspect on defense.
Well, we've both been saying that it would be really great to draft a good small forward. So if we just focus on that, you have Michael Porter Jr., Zaire Smith, which we're not going to take because it sounds like Zaire Smith, and Kevin Knox.
I mean, I would be open to a center.
Then you could have Wendell Carter Jr.
Yeah, I'd be open. I'm not against this. Lonnie Walker, but I know people are talking up Lonnie Walker. Oh, he's a shooting guard. Never mind.
Yeah. Mikal Bridges, Miles Bridges.
Yeah, I mean those guys sound like they make the most sense. Everyone seems to have Mikal falling to the Knicks. You never know what's going to actually happen. But the basically description of him seems like a really solid 3-and-D guy with a ceiling of maybe a potential All-Star, or maybe not never quite hitting that level. But a guy that can play defense and shoot threes, drive to the basket. Like he's got a decent. He's kind of what we want at the small forward position. I would take Porter if Porter falls.
Yeah, what is
everything? Forget everything I just said. I mean, I like McCall. I don't think Porter's going to fall to us. The story with Porter is that he's a guy that everyone thought would be a top 3 pick, but he was injured. So obviously taking a little more risk, but people think Porter's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Porter's going to be available either.
But people have him falling to like 7. So if he's falling to 7, at least I'm looking at one mock draft. If he's falling to 7, he could fall to 9. Things like that do happen. Would you be concerned? Would you want to take a guy that just coming off of injury?
I mean, that's always a concern, but Philly's been doing that, and it seems to have worked for them. I just got to say, it's a really good thing that we won a bunch of games at the end of the season so that we have to hope that players fall a few spots unexpectedly.
We won 5 of the last 13 games, and because of that, we really built a culture, and everything is so much better now because we won those 5 games. If we had lost those 5 games, wow, we would just be a bad team.
Yeah, all those players would have been like, we now have a losing culture, even though I'm not going to be on the team next year.
Well, you know what? You can't ask players to throw a game. I mean, as a coach, you could probably design it so they throw the game. But you know what? It's the players just won the game, and the coach is allowed to win the game, and we can't do anything about that because we can never have a coach and a GM on the same page for the future of the
franchise.
franchise.
I get you can't ask players to lose a game. You can't ask the coach to lose a game. But my point is, when Porzingis went down, you could have said, we're just going to play all the young guys. Probably would have lost a few more games, and we would have developed the young guys, so it would have been a win-win situation.
The thing is,
playing the vets,
right,
until like game 70. What did that do?
It did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. It was a complete waste of time. The Knicks are a moronic organization. If you were playing Troy Williams, if you're playing him 40 minutes a night and he's put up beast-like numbers, we won the game. Great. But if you're going to play. Give major minutes. Cantor's supposed to play 30 minutes a night. Why? What's the point of this? It's insane to not have gone. I agree with you completely. All the games we won until KP got injured, totally fine. I wanted the team to be competitive. It made sense to try to win games. Once KP got injured, I agree with you completely. We should have just said, we're playing the young guys. Oh, and people will say, well, you know what? It's not good for free agents to see you playing all the young guys and screwing over the veterans. It doesn't matter.
Really? Because it seems like nobody's saying that about LA, and they benched what's-his-face, Luol Deng for the entire season.
Yeah, no one really gives. All they care about if you have potential, if you have a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Teams that bottom out, they know how to bottom out, basically, they get good. It's not like tanking is the only way to win, and obviously there's always the example of Donovan Mitchell, who's a great example of you took him at what did you go at 13 or 11?
11 or 12, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then short, and maybe there's a guy in this draft that'll go 15, he'll be the best player in the NBA. Who the hell knows? But it's just so annoying when you at the end of the season when everyone's like, oh, like nothing we could do about it. We just won those games, and like the Knicks of the teams in the bottom 10, the Knicks must have the best record in the NBA for the last 10 games of the season.
No, it's like every season.
I bet if you look over the last decade, the Knicks of the teams in the bottom 10, the Knicks have won the most games of those teams for the last like 2 weeks of the season. The Knicks are just like, let's turn it on. Wow, it's so easy when the other teams are trying to throw the games to us.
Stats guy tryout. Somebody look that up for us. Speaking of Cantor, let's go to a voicemail we got.
Okay.
Hey guys, what's up? I love the show. I'm just wondering what you have to think about this point I'm about to make. Enes Kanter, he says he wants to come back. He's looking for a long-term deal. Steve Mills said, the Knicks are open to a reunion, and, I love Kanter. I love how hard he plays. I love, he rebounds like an animal, and, he plays his heart out. But, the guy can't play defense. If you can't shoot and can't play defense, you really don't have a spot in the starting lineup at all these days. He can shoot the mid-range kind of consistently, but he can't stretch the floor, and we've seen he tries on defense. He tries, but he can't defend. He just can't. Some people have it, some people don't, I guess. So, I don't know what kind of money he's going to be looking for, but I really wouldn't give him anything, like what he's getting now, 18, if he opts in, it's crazy to me. So I really don't want to see him go as far as, he's got a great personality, he fits in the city perfect, but you can't have a center that doesn't play defense back there. Imagine if we had someone like Rudy Gobert back there with KP. Who's coming in the paint? Nobody's coming in the paint if you have like a good defensive center next to KP. And then, we got to be excited about the draft coming up. If we get Mikal Bridges, then look, that's Frank at the one if he plays the one, and Mikal Bridges with length that both love to play defense. You got to be excited. All right, guys. Love the show. Keep it up. Have a good week.
All right. Thank you for the voicemail. Cantor, I agree. He's not good on defense. I like his personality. I like the fact that he likes playing in New York.
Who cares if he likes playing in New York? You're supposed to like playing in the team you're on. We stopped signing guys because they're like, oh, he likes playing here. Yeah, everyone on the roster is supposed to like playing here. We can't sign guys who are bad for our future just because they like playing here. I hate that line. He likes playing. He's good on social media. We don't care if he's good on social media. It's the same thing if Fitz. I like to hire Fitzdale, but like he'll be really good with the New York media. Who gives a crap? All it matters if he's good at winning games. Doesn't matter who we have. It could be the greatest guy ever with the New York media. If the Knicks suck, it's not going to go well with the media. If the Knicks are awesome, it'll go well with the media. It's all about winning games. Finding a way to build a winning team. Everything else doesn't matter. If Kanter is not good for our future, don't sign him because he's like, oh, he's good for our roster because he trolls LeBron on Twitter and really shows a lot of effort, even though he can't seem to ever figure out how to play defense.
So you don't want to pay him $20 million a year.
Here's the thing: if Kanter was not on the team, would you pay him $18 million to come here?
Hell no.
If Kanter was not on the team, he was just not a Knick, but you heard he liked playing in New York. He's playing in Milwaukee right now. Would you pay him like 3 years, $36 million to come here? Would that be our big signing? You'd be really excited to bring Kanter here, and we got him for 3 years and $36 million because no one else wanted him in the NBA. Like, no one would be excited. The only reason we get too locked in the players that are already here and assume, well, if we can get a good deal on a guy who was already here and we already sucked with, then, like, we should celebrate that. It doesn't matter if they're already on the team. Like, we have to decide going forward. Like, if he opts out, fantastic. If he opts out, we should never sign. We should tell him, hey, we're thinking about signing you. Then he opts out and go, we thought about it, we're done. That would be the ideal. Like, just get him out of here. It's a terrible idea to try to build if he opts out. And Cantor should opt in. I mean, he's insane not to opt in because no one's going to pay him this much money next year. But if he opts out, do you really want to have this next to KP? Like going forward for the next 3-4 years, we're going to build around, hey, KP, the other guy next to you is going to play no defense. See how it works. See how that works out for you. Like,
I feel like you have some strong opinions on this topic.
It's insane to bring him back. It doesn't matter if we need someone to play center. Well, we have to have someone there. He gets a lot of offensive rebounds. We sucked with him. I get. Maybe one day he'll figure out how to play defense. He won't. He's had enough time. He will not figure out how to play enough defense for us. He's a solid guy off your bench. And the other argument, well, he wouldn't be. I'd sign him, but only if we bring him off the bench. That's not the deal. The deal's not going to be him off the bench. The deal is that he's our starting center. No matter how much you want him to come back as a bench piece, he will not come back as a bench piece. He will only be our starting center.
So I'm going to take that as a no.
I don't I feel like this is one of those insane moves the Knicks do for no. This is how we build a bad roster going forward.
Oh, it's a total Knicks move.
It's a total Knicks move. You need someone better next to KP on defense. And not that KP's not good on defense, but if we want to win the NBA, that first and foremost, your center has to be a rim protector. And it could be a power forward. You can put KP at center and get a power forward. Either way, you need another guy that plays defense there. Or else we're going to get torched every night. I've got pick and rolls against. It's going to be. It's not a good idea to have a guy at center who can't play defense.
The voicemail said that, but think about how important Gobert has been to the Jazz. I mean, having a defensive center, the Jazz aren't. The Jazz are nowhere near where they are without.
Of course,
somebody like
no,
Gobert.
yeah, of course. Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense to me. It's just having a Gobert. I don't need the KP to play center or power forward. I'm open to either position for him, but you need another guy to pair with him that plays defense, and hopefully will be decent on offense too.
Yeah,
but this just doesn't make sense to have Cantor.
Okay, around the NBA news, it has been
wait.
said,
Do you want to?
Well, this is Knicks. This could relate to the Knicks.
Okay. I feel like we have a little more Knicks stuff to talk about.
Well, we were talking about centers, and apparently things are not going well between the Timberwolves and Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I heard that. That's how they. Because Towns is like, why don't you use me better? And the Timberwolves are like, no, we prefer using you wrongly. We prefer not feeding you the ball and having you just dominate other teams. We'd rather try other ways to win. Why does he not get the ball? They should build their offense around him.
Yeah, because he's not doing it on defense, so they need to have him make up for it on offense.
Well, I don't know if he's terrible on defense. Is he terrible? I thought he was okay on defense.
He got better throughout the season. He started off the season really bad.
Okay. My understanding on offense, he's pretty hard to stop.
Yes, he's been amazing on offense. He has improved throughout the season on defense. Not like Wiggins, who just seems like a train wreck on defense. So I think there's potential there.
I just feel like Towns has such ability that you would want to really design your offense around him and really feed in the ball. He could dominate, and I don't know why.
I think the Timberwolves decided that everyone watches Butler. And that was the offense. Watch what Butler does.
Why? Because he I brought the playbook from Chicago.
Yeah, and so Wiggins is mad, Towns is mad. There's just a lot of hard feelings because apparently it's like the Jimmy Butler show over there.
Okay, I know what you're getting at. I know where you're getting at this.
Are you saying I'm making a comparison to the Cavs?
No, I know where you're going with this. Can I just? You want me to? Fine. I apologize, Jay, for ever saying we should get Thibodeau. Clearly, I was wrong about Tibbs being a great coach. I apologize. There, you got me.
Tibbs seems not great.
It does not seem like he's the most amazing coach ever.
No. It seems like he runs his players into the ground and doesn't have much of a plan other than give the best player the ball 100% of the time. Well,
arguably the most talented player on the team now wants to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good Butler. I feel like Towns is the guy, the star player on that team, or potential to be a star player on that team. He's the guy you really want to make sure is happy. And if he wants to leave, it's not going well.
Yeah, I mean, you could say Butler's better, but Towns is the guy you want to build around because Butler's nearing 30.
Also, the potential is just Towns could be a top 5 player in the NBA.
Yeah, say he continues to improve on defense. He's one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, he has so much potential. Like he's like which right now I guess like obviously he's injured, so it's a little harder. But like I was saying, if KP was not injured, would you trade KP for Towns? I feel like I would still do that.
I wanted Towns before we got KP, so yeah, I still want him now that KP's even more injured and Towns looks even better. Yes, it's like it's an easier decision now.
Now Towns, that was the whole screw. If the Knicks had drafted 2 or 3, I'm pretty sure we would have drafted like Okafor. So yeah, so we fell into the KP thing, but I would have liked to have drafted 1 and gotten Towns.
Yeah.
Not that I'm unhappy with KP because KP is very good, except for the injuries. And yes, he'll be injured for the rest of his career because that's the Knicks, and that's how he'll be injured for the next 5 years, then somehow go to Phoenix and be like an all-star going forward. Because Phoenix will like magically heal him with their steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there was other Knicks things.
Oh, I was just going to talk. You want to talk about? I guess so. Fitzdale, he met with Janis Porzingis, KP's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he's going to some point. He's going to go to Latvia to visit KP.
Is it Janis or is it Giannis?
Well, we're in fucking America, Jay. It's Giannis. It's spelled Giannis, right?
Yeah, just like you say everything phonetically.
Yeah, that's how we should talk. We should talk phonetically. We should spell everything phonetically. It's idiotic not to spell things phonetically, like the word phonetic. I was gonna say Fitzdale. Some things they've said about him is that he can one of the things is there was a Knicks Film School did a thing about him. I don't know if I talked about it last time or not. About him being able to he works with guys on how to finish at the rim better. And like if you just have guys like Moutier and Burke, everyone finish the rim, they can finish a couple more shots of the game, we would have won a bunch more games. There's some thing that Knicks Film School did. Knicks Film School is amazing, by the way. Everyone should be following them. I don't know. Is there anything else about Fitzdale?
No. I
mean, a lot of interviews and like.
Yeah, no. He seems like he seems like he's up for the job. He seems like he has a plan. He seems
he wants to be here.
Yeah. Well, I know that's not really a plus for you, but no, he seems like he's not intimidated by the job, which is good.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like they everything they said, like he really made a lot. There were a lot of noticeable improvements on the Grizzlies the first year he was there, and he claims that he's learned from a lot of his mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, like I have a lot of hope. I'd say in my from 1 to 10, I'm around an 8 or a 9 that he'll work out.
At least for 2 years.
Yeah. So the roster going forward. I mean, we're such a better position if the guy Cantor opts out.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Next year we're right now at if everyone opts in, we're at $99 million for next year.
And for those of you who don't know the cap, that is the cap.
That's the cap. I mean, Kyle O'Quinn. Chances are I still think he'll opt out. But and there's something also the mid-level exception or something or mid-room exception or that we have, which is apparently $8 million. So we can sign someone. But then the following year, we're at $64 million. And the year after that, we're at $25 million. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. There's a rumor the Knicks might buy out Noah after September 1st and stretch him out for so they'd pay him the full amount for next year, the full $18 million. Then take the last $19 million they owe him and stretch that out over 3 seasons.
Why would you do that so much? I hate that so much.
And they would say, well, this way Noah could go sign with another team. As if you need to do him a favor. You're already paying him a lot of money. There's no favors. It's a job. There's no favors you have to do to him. If anything, veterans don't like. If you're cutting ties with him, veterans aren't going to be like, oh well, the Knicks did him a favor at the end. Now I'll sign with the Knicks. Like,
right. Hey, he didn't live up to his contract, so let's do him more favors.
Yeah, like how about you do the favor and be like playable on the court? I just say you just eat his contract at the pay. Like if you could trade him his last year, great. If not, just eat the contract.
Yeah.
We have to stop talking about free agents. The Knicks are not a destination for free agents, and they will not be until you develop till the team is not horrible.
Yeah, the idea of having it be 2020 and still owing Noah money is just depressing.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But 2020 and 2021, we have $18 million so far. Tim Hardaway. That's it.
Well, that's a great roster there, right there.
Yeah, it's Hardaway. He can do everything. And I think we have a team option on Ntilikina, so we're good. I don't know. Do you? I mean, just next season. I guess Cantor's on the roster probably. He opts in. Noah's here, or we cut him, whatever. The money's here. Hardaway's here. Courtney Lee, Lance Thomas, Kristaps is not going to play, but he's here. Baker is going to opt in because he'd have to be like out of his gut. We're paying him $4.5 million to Baker.
That's something.
I think Kyle Quinn will opt out. Here's what would actually happen. We'd September 1st, we'd cut Noah, and then we'd also have already lost like Kyle Quinn and we'd cut Noah and we don't have a center. Like Cantor would be gone and the Kyle Quinn would be gone, and we'd have no center. That's how the Knicks would do it.
Yep.
Or they'd be like, okay, Cantor, we couldn't Quinn opted out. We need a center. Here's a max deal. Okay, I don't have anything else Knicks to talk about.
You want to do some questions?
Yeah. Well, do you want to go around the NBA and then do questions? Let's go around the NBA. There's not much left going on in the NBA, so.
Sure.
Okay, so first, we have not done the show since the Celtics shocked the world with the first two games of the series. I mean, now they're up 2-1. Now they're up 2-1 because Cleveland blew them out in Game 3. But it's been a good series so far.
Yeah, I mean, to have missing your two best players and to be this good is super impressive.
Well, I heard. Go.
I was just gonna say they're such a bad road team that they're still questioned in the series.
I mean, well, do you remember the year? Was it 95? I forget which year it was. Maybe 94 or 5 or the Knicks beat the Bulls. It wasn't 94, but the Knicks played the Bulls in the playoffs. They won the first 2 games against the Bulls, and we were like, "Whoa, we're finally going to beat the Bulls!" And the Bulls won the next 4.
Yeah,
and I feel like that could completely easily happen here. LeBron's just like, "Okay, let's take it to another level and get him." I mean, Game 3, basically obviously LeBron's roster is not great, but guys started playing better. George Hill played better. JR played better. Everyone played a little bit better, and of course they won. I mean, the Celtics have been beating the Cleveland because it's basically LeBron, it's Love, and no one else on the roster does anything.
Right.
I was listening to an interview with the Celtics, one of their announcers, who was saying how one thing you have to think about is that we're saying this is absurd that the Celtics are beating Cleveland, but we might look back at this in 10 years from now and be like, well, it made complete sense because Tatum became was a made bunch of All-Star teams, and Jaylen Brown ended up making a bunch of All-Star teams. A lot of these guys are really good.
Yeah, I mean Brown, Rozier, and I mean Horford might be just an underrated player throughout his entire career.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a really good team. It's just when you hear that they lost their 2 best guys, you kind of think they have no chance. But then you realize the team is sneaky deeper than anybody thought.
If you get if you make the finals, do you even want Kyrie back?
No, I don't want. If I'm the Celtics, I trade Kyrie as soon as you're allowed to. July 1st or whatever it is. Kyrie's gone.
I mean, are they the Celtics that much better? You're probably better off having Rozier as your point guard and then trading Kyrie and get something better for Kyrie, something that fits better on some other position that would be helpful.
Before people start freaking out about that, Kyrie has been injured every single year of his entire career. He's a max salary guy. He's older than most of your roster.
He's 26.
Yeah.
Okay.
26,
yeah,
27.
Yeah, you're right. He is old. Yeah.
You have guys playing his position that are playing fine.
like Rozier's playing really well, and I mean Smart has been pretty good also. You want to keep Smart in my mind. Are you come around Smart at all? He plays like his
I
defense is
still
great.
don't like him as far as the flopping, but as far as a guy you want on your team, yeah.
He's a hell of a defender.
Yeah.
Like you need guys that are like, and he hustles. He always makes like a good play. He always makes like this added play where he dives for a ball or something like that.
Yeah, so if I'm Danny Ainge, I sell high on. I know he's injured, but I still think right now the market value for Kyrie is very high.
I think also you have to try to keep Smart because Smart's gonna be a restricted free agent, so someone can offer him a big deal, and you're gonna have to let him go unless you get rid of Kyrie.
I mean, you get a top 5 pick and a solid rotation player for Kyrie, right?
Yeah, I mean, what would the Celtics need?
Definitely a top 5 pick.
Well, no. I mean, like roster wise, like player wise, what would be more valuable than having Kyrie as your point guard? Or what would be?
I wouldn't mind just another good point guard, just not a
one that would be more of a compliment as opposed to a guy that needs the ball in his hands all the time.
Yeah, like a Ricky Rubio or something like that. Like he doesn't have to be an all-star.
But backing up Terry Rozier. Are you making Rozier your main point guard?
Backing him up, or doing a starting both of them.
I mean, you can just get your team could get even, and Celtics are a pretty deep team anyway, but you can get even deeper.
Well, I'm saying if you get rid of Kyrie, you have Rozier, and you don't really have much backing him up.
No, I mean, they have Marcus Smart backing him up now, at least.
Right, but Smart, I feel like, is more of a 2.
Yeah, well, he's been fine at point guard actually, but in the playoffs. But
I'd like to get another guard.
You get another. I agree with you. It wouldn't hurt to have another point guard on the team, and someone else is more willing to be sharing the duties. I think Kyrie wants it to be his team when he comes back.
Right.
Well, look at the team. You got the starting lineup right now. You have Jalen, obviously. You have Rozier. You have Horford. You have Tatum. Who am I missing?
Hayward. Did you say Gordon Hayward?
Oh no, I forgot about Gordon Hayward. Yeah, no, you know what you need? You need that all-star that's going to come back next year.
I know that's the thing. Like you already going to be significantly better with Hayward coming back. That's why I also don't think you need Kyrie.
Yeah, no, I would trade Kyrie. I would get some assets from him. You're right. I completely agree. Like, they've been playing who's the big guy they play? Well, they're playing Morris Baines. Baines, who looks like he could beat anyone else up in the league.
Yeah.
Baines Baines also sounds like he could be a Batman bad guy.
Yeah.
They are in such a good position for that. It's going to be the next once LeBron's done, which its chance starts pretty soon. Like Philly and Boston are going to be battling it out for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And the Knicks will be like, well, maybe this year we'll get the 8th seed. I don't want to promise too much to your fans, but yeah. So do you think Cleveland comes back, or do you think Celtics finish them off?
I think Celtics finish them off, but I think it's a close series just because if you look, the Celtics have been a terrible road team.
Yeah.
So maybe Cleveland wins next game. Boston goes up 3-2. I mean, it could go 7, or maybe Boston wins in 6. But I'd be surprised if Cleveland didn't win at least one more.
I think Boston has to win in 6. I mean, Cleveland. I think 7. Cleveland wins. I don't see you being LeBron in Game 7.
Could be. I mean, you also got. I know people get pissed off, but I would say the refs are a factor. I know they spanked Boston last game, but there was some calls where I'm like, yeah, the refs aren't even going to let them get back into it if they should make a run.
They really spanked them.
They did. They spanked them a lot.
Houston, by the way, Houston. So Golden State's about to go up 2. They're up by a lot on Houston, so they're about to go up 2-1. You think Houston makes a series out of this? I mean, the thing is, with Houston won Game 2 against Golden State, but they had Gordon and who was the other guy that went off?
Tucker,
yeah. Both had huge games. I just don't think Houston can really count on those guys to have huge games going forward.
Well, they obviously can't. Yeah, no, I think Houston could
And
push it to 6, but Golden State's a better team.
I think it'll probably be 5. Steph had a bad. Yeah, you're right. They could push it to 6, but that's about it. And Steph had a bad game.
But I mean,
I think.
Houston spent the entire season building a team to beat the Warriors, and then they lost at home in the first game. So like, they lost home court advantage. They spent all season getting home court advantage and lost it in one game.
Yeah, yes, that's totally true. But it's really hard. Like people are giving them crap because they built this team to beat Golden State. 29 teams have built their teams to beat Golden State. Just because the Houston's like had a really good team, like Golden State is really good.
They are. I think more people are getting on their case because they talked about it the whole time. Like that, you don't want to have the other team put that on their.
No, that stuff is whatever. They were your main competitor. You wanted to be like, this is who we're going for. We're going for the champ. You're always going for the champ.
You are, but you don't want to give the champ fodder. Like Golden State wants to destroy Houston because of all the trash talking they did.
You think they didn't trash talk and they were nice gentlemen? That Golden State would be like, oh, we're gonna take this series less seriously. It's the Western Conference Finals.
There's a difference between wanting to win and saying, I want to completely embarrass this team off the court. There's an extra gear when you're extra motivated to destroy a team.
Well, the Knicks are never extra motivated, but I think Golden State, they know how to get into that zone. They know how to play like that. That's how they win so many games. They're going to do it no matter what. No matter what Houston did, they're going to come to the game like they want to annihilate Houston. I don't think the extra. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I disagree, but either way, we are where we are, and they're going to annihilate that. I just want what it would be nice if either Cleveland or Golden State doesn't make it, just so the NBA has some like you can go to the next season going, I wonder what's going to happen.
I think we have a very good chance of Golden State Boston series, and I think Boston making the finals changes a lot of things for next season.
What happens? So if Boston goes to the finals, what does LeBron do? By the way, I think we both agree that Golden State will beat Boston, but I think it'll be right. You agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be a sweep, or do you think it'll be a tight series? I think it's going to go 6 games.
5 or 6.
Okay. So what happens? LeBron's the big question. That's an interesting question. Like, no matter what you think of LeBron, like he's probably going to leave Cleveland if they lose to Boston, or at least he'll strongly evaluate his other options. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, that's the thing. I would say he's totally gone, but then like, what are his other options? I mean, it's not like he's got a. If he wants to just chase championships, there's not a lot of like solid unless he wants to run to Golden State. Like
that'd be amazing. That'd be hilarious if you sign with Golden State. He's like, screw it, I'm just gonna play with the champs.
The year after Anthony Davis goes to Golden State, it's just like.
I still think Cleveland screwed up by not trading the Brooklyn pick for to get a better roster, because I think if they made that trade, I don't know who they could have gotten. But they probably would have gotten someone that would help put them over the edge to beat Boston right now. Because right now, the roster is so weak. If you had one other player that could contribute, they'd probably beat Boston.
Yeah, they were really hanging on to a pick that ended up being 8th.
Yeah, and they're paying on this pick that's going to be 8th, and LeBron walks. You know what happens, Cleveland? You suck for a long time. This Brooklyn pick is not going to make a difference. You're not going to go back to the finals for the next 30 years. This is your chance to go to the finals. You take your window. You go with your window. You don't pretend like I'm going to one hand I'm going to try to really maximize my window. On the other hand, I want to play for tomorrow. I think this also, if I'm LeBron, I'm like, you should have traded this pick. I'm leaving. That was the last straw with me.
Yeah.
But then, people say he might go to Houston, but I don't think Houston can actually make the cap thing work.
No, LeBron has made it very clear that he's done playing for a discount, which eliminates Houston. Yeah,
so it has to be a team that can pay him. There aren't many teams that can pay. Philly seems like the logical place to me. I know we've talked about this before, but and you don't think Philly should do it?
No.
I think Philly should do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I don't, just because I feel like you're gonna stunt the growth of the other players. LeBron's gonna fall off soon, and I don't know. I just feel like they're going to mortgage their future for like a shot next year.
So
But are they right there though?
okay, so forgetting the fact that I wonder if I can look up on Basketball Reference who actually has cap space next season.
Well,
There aren't that many
I
teams.
know. No, it's like Lakers, Clippers, um, Philly, and that's it out of the teams I think that uh, LeBron would go to. Like he's not going to go to like Utah or Memphis or something like that.
Oh, I was thinking Milwaukee, but they're maxed out for next season already. Because Milwaukee would have been interesting pairing LeBron with like Giannis.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Who else is I think going to the West is just ridiculous. What about New Orleans? He pairs with let me see what New Orleans. New Orleans can't have cap space.
Not
And
if they have Cousins.
well, they're getting rid. No, Cousins is not even counted for the cap next year, and they don't have cap space.
Oh, right, right.
I think Cousins is gone. Um, who else makes sense? Like, what would be an interesting situation for him if somehow if Melo opts out? Utah would be. I wonder if they have cap space. They might. They have a little bit of cap space, not enough to really sign him. I mean, I guess you can move some pieces around. But that'd be an interesting one. You have Mitchell, LeBron, and Gobert. That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Is he going to play with these? I mean, the crazy thing is Philly has so much cap space for next year. They have 70 million committed, so they have 30 million cap space. They could just sign him. Barely make any moves. They just sign him.
The only problem with Philly is they're going to need to offer a max contract like 3 or 4 years in a row after this one. So like,
Well, I think
they
the
have
thing is
cap
that
space this year, but like they're going to be in some interesting situations going forward.
well, you could just take the gamble and go like, hey, you know what? Let's go to the finals next year and worry about everything else later.
Yeah.
I don't know who anyone else who's a good situation. The problem is that most of the teams that have payroll cap space for next year aren't good situations.
Yeah.
Like it's like the Raptors would love to get him, but they have no. Wow, the Captors have 127 million committed for next season. There's no way you can move that, like move guys. I mean, obviously teams can move guys around, but yeah, I wonder if at the end of the day he looks at Cleveland and goes, let's just try to figure this out again. Because there's like, where else am I going to go to make it work better?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anyone else that makes sense to you.
Not really, no.
Indiana, what if they have cap space? Not much. I mean, like, I guess they could move some players, but him next to Oladipo and it's also he should go to the Knicks. Just that's the ultimate. LeBron, just go to the Knicks, please.
Lorenzo right.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Would you take him on the Knicks?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not miserable enough with this team that you wouldn't be just like, let's go to the finals.
I feel like I would have sold my soul to start rooting for a guy that I've rooted against my entire.
Let's say the Knicks get rid of Cantor and
He's not going to the Knicks. This is a waste of time.
And we get LeBron because LeBron's like, oh, I like Fitz. I'll sign. All you do is sign hire Fitz, and I'm in. Those rumors were true. Could he get this roster to the finals?
Probably not.
It's a pretty bad roster. Without especially with an injured KP, I feel like even LeBron can't get. Like LeBron's like, I got you to the 8th seed. Now, just let me get you out of this hell. Okay.
So Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, another new Knicks coach, another mispronounced name by Mark, David Fizdale.
Yeah,
Fizdale.
I really thought there was a T in that name. Someone else pointed out also.
He doesn't have a hot daughter, but his wife is pretty sweet, so that's something. Thank you,
That is something.
Let's see. We have an email from Angel who writes, the last two best coaches we had were Pat Riley and then his disciple Jeff Van Gundy. I was excited at the prospect of having Van Gundy come back, but when you think about it, David Fizdale is also a disciple of Riley, except he's younger with a more up-to-date knowledge base. I think this will be a good development year. I love how he was already getting better after Already getting after Moutier, saying that they were going to make him right. Oh yeah, his wife is also pretty hot.
Yeah. No, he did say they're going to make him right. He did. Like, he's been saying some good things about players.
Mm-hmm.
Right things. I don't think he can make Moutier right, but I am totally down with him trying to take a guy that has a lot of potential and trying to make it work out.
Yeah.
But lies. What history?
What teams would you? What teams are in worse situations going forward than the Knicks? Like, well, here not even what teams. Would you rather be the Knicks or be OKC? I know OKC is in the playoffs and they have Westbrook, but are they? Is it such a better situation there?
Can you ask that again? If we find out if Melo opts in for his $29 million contract?
We already found out he opts in. There's no way he's opting out unless Melo lives on a different planet, in a different universe.
They're still probably in a better situation because that Melo thing's only one more year, and they have Adams and Westbrook.
Yeah,
which is
better. Yeah, you could still build
Frank.
Yeah. Of course, that's better. Yeah, I feel like it's like a.
It's not a great situation, but it's better.
It's just not going anywhere. Like the one thing I'd say about it is that you're stuck in this situation where you're probably not going anywhere with that team. Whereas the Knicks, in theory, could get better.
Yeah,
probably not going to. Yeah, then obviously Seattle's in a better situation. You know, I haven't read the article yet, but there's an article on Real GM that says the intrinsic limitations of Becky Hammond. Skip the. Never mind. Okay, go on.
That is it for emails. We passed 750,000 all-time downloads, so congratulations to us.
Okay, Knicks. At least we're accomplishing something. Ralph writes, who are we taking in the draft? I'm going to say not Port. I'm going to say we're most likely going to take McCall.
McCall Bridges?
Yeah, I think that seems the most likely. And Miles Bridges, who also apparently, Miles Bridges is not related to McCall Bridges because somehow I almost feel like they're both the names begin with M and they have to be related. But they're not related, even though that they're very similar players. But Miles is also a guy that I'd be happy the Knicks take. It seems like McCall is, from what I've read about him, seems like he makes more sense, but I'm cool with either one. Would McCall make sense to you?
It does. It's a position we need. It's a player that could end up being something.
Man, if we could have just not won those 5 games, we'd probably be picking at least 5th, and we could have gotten Bamba, and I'd be very happy having Bamba next to KP.
Yeah.
Ralph writes, who are they adding to the coaching staff? Not Nick Van Exel. Did you see that one?
No.
Though there were rumors the Knicks were going to get Nick Van Exel because he was on the Memphis staff. And someone asked, I forget who they asked. It may have been Ian Begley. I'm not sure who they asked. They're like, oh, is it true that Van Exel's going to sign? And Van Exel wrote back, no. So I guess it's probably not true, as Van Exel confirmed that it's not true. Who else? Keith Smart, they said they might get.
I don't really know much about him.
I don't know much about it. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about the assistants or like how much is going to matter. The only one that really matters is the head coach. I mean, all the other guys do matter, but like if we get a good head coach, I'm sure he'll bring in good people and everything else will work itself out. I don't think you do have any concerns about who as long as I do you have any concerns about who the assistants are?
Not really. I mean, it's as long as we don't get somebody like a Mike Brown who seems to have sucked everywhere he goes. Like, I just want to see like I actually wouldn't mind seeing a bunch of younger guys that are more willing to try something new. Maybe could relate to the players better.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me. Ralph writes, when does Summer League start? That is, I assume it's after the season's over, so I assume like July.
Yeah, but there's like 3 summer leagues.
Oh, there's the Orlando, the Vegas one. They all different times, but I thought they don't happen until after the draft.
Right. Yeah, sometime in like July.
Yeah, maybe there's one that's in August, but And the Knicks are playing in which one are they playing in? Because didn't they switch like which one they played in?
Yeah, I'm not even sure to tell you the truth.
Ralph writes, "Are the Cavaliers done?" No, this was written before they beat the Celtics. Do you think tomorrow night? When's the next game? Monday night is the next game, or do you think the Cavaliers win the next game?
No.
Well, if the Celtics win the next game, I feel like the series is going to be over.
Yeah.
I think Cavaliers win the next game. John writes, if Michael Porter Jr. falls to the ninth pick because of his injury this year, would you pick him? Before the injury, he was considered a top 3 pick.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with your logic. Like, just like this is what Philly's done, and it's worked out really well with guys like Embiid. Like, unless you really think the injury is going to be career-ending injury, like, go for it. You got to get the guy with the higher ceiling.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it doesn't look like it's a career-ending injury, so and he's young enough to fully heal. You go for it.
Yeah. John writes, Brian writes, McCall shot 40% from 3 and is the elite versatile defender. Why wouldn't we pick him?
Elite defender sounds good.
Well, Trae Young is flashy, and we need a more of a logjam at the one position we have other young players. Brian writes, does it feel like the Knicks are finally being run the right way, or is it a smokescreen? In what ways do you expect them to mess this up?
On paper, it looks like yes, they are, but deep down in my heart, I feel like they're just waiting to crush my soul.
They, what's his name? Not Mills, but the, I'm so brain dead. Becomes Sunday night. Who's our GM?
Perry.
Perry, yes, that's the name I was searching for. He said that one of the interesting things from interviewing so many people, he really got a sense of how the rest of the league viewed the Knicks, and it was really just like enlightening for them to see how people viewed like what they're building.
Nobody
here.
Respects them at all.
Yeah, but so it seemed like part of the reason they were doing all this interviewing was to really like get like just more information, basically, of how to build going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I like that. That was seemed like a good idea. Like this is your one opportunity to talk to a bunch of really smart people about how we should build this roster going forward.
Yeah,
and have them try to impress us, but like maybe we can get some good ideas from this. So I'd like that. If Cantor opts out and he's still in the Knicks in October, then I will say this organization is being run poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we give out a dumb contract this summer?
Of course. It's like an annual tradition.
I mean, in theory, like we don't have a lot of. If Cantor opts in, we don't have a lot of cap space to give out a dumb contract.
That won't stop them though. Yeah, I mean, if we have like the mid-level exception, I could see them giving that to like.
But that's a 1-year deal. You can't be that wrong on a 1-year deal.
You don't know the Knicks. And how long have we been doing this show? We'll probably give it like a 1-year deal with a player option for 7 years.
So whoever they sign will like somehow officially end KP's career. Yeah. Kenny writes, rumors are the Grizzlies are interested in trading. Oh, here's a question for you before we even get to that. The Clippers have the 12 and the 13 pick. Would you trade the number 9 pick for the 12 and 13 pick?
No.
Why not?
I just feel like the lower down you go, the bigger chance you have of getting a bad pick. Like, if we don't even know who we're going to take at 9, like, are we just trying to make it easier by taking all the good players off the board?
No, but I mean, like, in theory, we need the roster is really barren. We need a lot of players. A 12 and a 13, they both could be very solid players who could be. You could get 2 starters there, or at least get 1 starter and one good guy off the bench.
Yeah.
Like, is whoever getting at number 9 is going to be so much better that it's worth not getting. Like, 12 and 13 seems like. I don't know if I'd do it, but it's maybe I'd want more in that trade. But that almost seems compelling to me. Like, you're dropping down a few spots and you get an extra pick that's right there.
Nope.
I mean, it's 2 first-round picks for 1 first-round pick, and like, I don't know. I went, if I'm the Grizzlies, they went to a 4 for a 9, the 12 and 13, but like 9 for 12 and 13. Doesn't seem insane. It doesn't seem insane to me.
Yeah.
You say no, absolutely not.
I'm not saying it's not crazy, but I would just rather not do that.
Okay. Kenny writes, rumors are the Grizzlies are interested in trading the pick 4. What would make a sensible deal? Would you swap Noah for Conley, bad contract for bad contract?
Yes.
Yeah, I would do that. But I don't think that'll get you the number 4 pick.
No. No, that would just be a swap. And I don't think Memphis does that anyway.
I mean, what would you have to give up the Grizzlies to get to like swap from 9 to 4? What would the Grizzlies want? You'd probably have to include, well, obviously this year's pick. You probably have to include Ntilikina.
Yeah, it'd be 9 and Frank.
I mean, really, the assets we have, only assets we have that people really want are Ntilikina, KP, and draft picks.
Yeah, that's all we have.
Is there anyone else in the roster that has so much value that people are going to be like, oh, well, let's reunite us with Courtney Lee and we'll just do it?
No.
Yeah. Eris writes, yes, when is Brink Part 2 coming out? Jay is a horrible person and just hasn't released the episode just to torture you. We recorded it a couple nights ago. I don't know why Jay won't release it, Jay.
It's coming out tomorrow morning. Don't worry.
Okay. Gilliam writes, would you trade for Kawhi if it doesn't include any of KP or Frank, and it doesn't include any first? So from 2019 on, what would be the best possible offer that would abide by these rules? How about Kawhi for Timmy, Dotson, Burke, the number 9 pick, and a future second? Would you do this trade if you're the Knicks and Spurs? Can you come up with a better offer that would come from another team from the Spurs' perspective? All this is in case Spurs are pretty sure that he's leaving in free agency, that Kawhi would agree to resign with the Knicks, etc. Consider how much OKC paid for George, Celtics for Irving, and other similar cases. Hey, if you're the Celtics, would you trade Kyrie for Kawhi?
In a heartbeat.
That wouldn't be a bad trade.
No, I would definitely do that.
So there's the better trade for the Celtics and the Knicks offer. First of all, if you're the Knicks, would you do Timmy, Dotson, Burke, the 9th pick, and a future second for Kawhi?
Yes.
I mean, why did it take you so long to say yes, Jay?
I just want to make sure there wasn't like a catch in there.
I mean, the catch is that the best coach in the NBA couldn't get along with him, so we're screwed.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking like the injury might be more serious. He couldn't get along with the best franchise ever. But it doesn't seem like we'd be giving up anything that I'd be heartbroken about to get him.
No, Jay, you don't even want the Timmy contract here. So
no, I don't even want Timmy. Dodson, Burke, I like them, but
basically for you, it's really just like would you trade the 9th pick to have a shot at one of the top 5 players in the NBA?
Right.
Yeah, I would do this in a heartbeat. If you're the Spurs, no.
No.
I mean, the Spurs, you could say this is a decent amount, but I feel like you can just get more from other teams.
Maybe, although based on last year, stars have. I mean.
Well, if the Celtics want him, the Celtics have a lot more assets.
Yeah, I mean, if the Knicks could offer all that, and then the Celtics could just push over the Kyrie card, and they'd be like, yeah, we'll take Kyrie instead. Especially with the way Parker looks like he's absolutely toast.
No, it makes a lot of sense for both teams. What other trades could be out? I just feel like a lot of teams could put up. Philly will have more assets to put up there.
Yeah,
they still probably have a lot of draft picks they can give you.
I mean, Boston could even say Kyrie and Morris, because with Kawhi you don't need Morris anymore.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I don't think we need to explore much further when Celtics can trump any offer.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of teams could probably we're really not giving a lot. No. I mean, you think Timmy.
It's like a bad contract, 2 D-leaguers, and a mediocre pick.
As much as I like these players, it's not a lot you're really giving up.
No.
I mean, if anything, we just said Memphis was willing to trade their pick. Number 4, the Memphis will be like, here's number 4 pick. That already beats half what the Knicks are offering.
Yeah.
Because Memphis just the 4 pick is better than the 9th plus Burke and probably plus Dotson.
Yeah.
Plus you throw in an extra pick there, I'm sure they would. Yeah. Gilliam writes, what would you think of offering Philly trading for Bayless, who has 1 year left, for $8.5 million? They have a few picks in this draft: 10, 26, 38, 39, 56, 60. Philly has all these picks?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Which of these picks would you ask to take on his salary, which could be crucial for them as this summer is their big window in terms of available cap space in free agency? Obviously, I would ask for the 26th pick to take on the salary, but I'd be very happy to take the 38th pick to take on the salary.
Yeah, anything past that, it's not really any point.
Yeah, or maybe take the 38th and 39th pick. Well, I guess basically, if you're not getting the 26th pick, I would have to take 2 of their second-round picks. Maybe the 38th and 39th, or 30th and 56th. I need something else.
Yeah.
Because second-round picks aren't really worth that much to take on Bayless's contract. And not that it would be so Bayless would probably be he'd start for us probably.
Yeah.
I mean, not that he'd be a solid guy on the team. Not that we. I wish the Knicks would take this plan. Knicks should have this strategy going forward. Take cap space to get players like the Philly was doing. Gilliam writes, this is not Knicks related, but I want to know what you think of this trade I came up with. So basically, the Raptors need something extra. That would be Cousins. The Pelicans have Cousins, but he's a free agent, and that will be paid the max, which is probably starting around 30 to 35. You could say they are better without him. It allows Davis to play center and so on, but they can't lose him for nothing and don't really want to pay him that. Meanwhile, the Raptors have such a strong bench that players like Norman Powell don't even get enough minutes. So it would be something like Cousins for Valanciunas, Powell, Siakam, Van Vliet, more or less. Thoughts?
That was a lot of names.
Well, all those guys are really solid bench pieces on Toronto. Toronto, obviously, they're coming back next year. They want to win. Do you think Cousins pairs well with DeRozan and Lowry? I feel like in theory he would.
He would, but they've given up all the depth of the team.
Well, the question, they didn't get anywhere with the depth. They lost with the depth. And the playoffs, in the playoffs, you use shorter lineups. Maybe the depth is great for the regular season, but it's not so great for the playoffs. If you're Toronto, either you come back with the same basic roster and you lose again in the playoffs, or you make some major change and try to actually win.
I feel like Toronto's screwed.
Well, this would be, you want to take a Hail Mary. This would be a good Hail Mary move.
That's a good Hail Mary because Lowry's already 32. DeRozan can't play defense. It's like, I don't know. I feel like that this team, the way it's constructed, is maxed out.
Yeah.
Especially when you got to think Philly and Boston are going to get way better next year. So at best, they're the third best team, and maybe even worse if if Milwaukee gets lucky in the draft, or maybe the Pacers are only a player or two away from being better, and you never know what the Cavs are going to do. So like they could easily be the fifth best team in the league next year.
So trading for Cousins would make a lot of sense.
It would, yeah. They got to do something. If they bring back the same squad, it's going to have the same results.
It's
not like they're a young team that's going to get better every year. You know what I mean? Their stars are older, so they're not going to get their bench players are young, but none of them are superstars. Their stars are getting older, and they're just going to get worse.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the bench players are young, but it's not going to make a difference.
Especially,
it's not.
Ibaka looks like he's close to being toast.
Yeah, no, you got to change more, and so I feel like, I like that move a lot. Or try to these players. I guess these players probably aren't worth it for. Like San Antonio is not going to trade Kawhi for these players, but you're right. Like for if you're the Pelicans, you need depth anyway. That's what you really need. You get a couple of these players to tell you you're a much better team.
Yeah.
So that trade actually, I think it's a good trade. Gilliam writes, at this moment, I think the players who are impossible to fall to 9 in a draft are Doncic, Ayton, Jackson, Bagley, and Bamba. So the main players that would be available would be Porter, Young, Mikal Bridges, Miles Bridges, Wendell Carter, Sexton, Gilgeous Alexander, Knox Zaire, and Zaire Smith. From what you know at this point, any players you really like or want to avoid drafting? We kind of discussed this already. I mean, what do you think, Jay?
Nobody I'm totally in love with. Seeing Bamba almost touch the top of the backboard kind of intrigued me, but
so here's the draft lottery was on Tuesday night, right?
yeah.
So right when it was going on, I had a call I had to take for work. I'm on the phone doing something for work, and I see a text from Jay, and the Jay said something like, "This guy should be on something about like a what'd you say? You gave a video of Bamba, and you said this guy could be a possibility for us, right?
I said he should be on the radar, yeah.
This guy should be on the radar." And I knew Bamba was a top 5 pick. So I saw that, and I didn't know the draft results. And I saw that, I was like, oh my God, we got a top 3 pick.
I didn't know Bamba had moved that far up in the draft. Last I looked, he was like 7, so I was thinking, well, maybe he could fall to 9.
Yeah, I got so excited. I was like, "This wait." I'm trying to I'm doing this work call. I really want to look up to see if the Knicks got, and I got the phone. My work call ended, and I was like, "Jay, why did you send me this?" Yeah, the only thing I did, the point guards, I feel like are probably a bad idea. Beyond that, none of these guys seem like they could be that wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know enough about any of them. I just don't think any of them could be that wrong. The Bridges not brothers could make a lot of sense. I don't know enough about Wendell Carter. I don't know. Well, we'll be talking about this for the rest of until the draft. So
yeah.
Anything else, Jay?
That is it.
That is it. We will not be back next week, as we are probably going bi-weekly or weekly or every other week, or however the correct terminology is, because not much is going up on Knicks World. And we will probably do more episodes around the draft and around free agency. But beyond that, it'll be a slower summer for episodes.
Yeah. So in the meantime, you could check out our website, the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com, where you can get a couple of Knicks podcast shirts, help to support the show. If you also want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/NYKnicksPodcast. And you could email us, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. We're also nyknickspodcast on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to leave a voicemail, 631-676-1181.
Do you feel like we should not even be paying attention to stuff that Fitzdale says and all the comments about him at this point? In the sense of, like, every time we hire a coach, we always try to look at the best possible, like the brightest side of it, and just say all these good things about him. And then we're always like, oh, he says the right things in the media and blah, blah, blah. Everything always sounds good at this point. We're never like, oh, it sounds like a disaster from day one. Why even pay attention to all this stuff? Like, shouldn't we just start paying attention in October when the training camp starts? That's when it's really going to matter.
Yeah, I mean, everyone talks a good game. So, yeah, I'm going to keep my expectations low until I see what the team looks like with him.
I mean, the thing is, we were talking up Hornacek. We talked ourselves into Fisher. We talked ourselves any coach they hire.
Yeah, we're desperate.
Yeah, we're desperate. We're absolutely desperate. And of course, no one's going to sound terrible until you've actually seen them coach.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back in 2 weeks. In the meantime, you can check out our comedy podcast, The Brink of Sanity. You could just type in The Brink of Sanity into iTunes or go to brinkofsanityshow.com. It's Mark and me and usually a third guy, Bry, and it's hilarious. So check it out.
It is as funnier than the Knicks.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back soon.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you